Out of Darkness. We'll tell you a little bit about how this band came together as we go through. But we're a band of brothers. It's two pairs of brothers. Can you tell which is which? It's tricky. Okay. That was Out of Darkness. I said we're doing. It's going to be an eclectic set because we're all coming from different places. We'll talk to you a little bit about where we come from individually, together, and so forth, some of our backgrounds. Hopefully not bore you with that. But here's a piece by Pat. This is Pat.
Hi, Pat. Hi,
Pat. Thank you very much. That was by Peter, by the way. Pete wrote that thing called Out of Darkness. This next composition of mine is kind of more along traditional lines. It's based on an old standard tune called You Stepped Out of a Dream, which jazz musicians loved playing. It's actually from an old movie called Ziegfeld Girl, 1941, I believe, in which Lana Turner comes marching down a big staircase in a feather boa, and the old band singer Tony Martin starts singing You Stepped Out of a Dream. And the song became so associated with Lana Turner that whenever she walked into a restaurant or a nightclub in Los Angeles, if the band saw her come in, they'd go right into You Stepped Out of a Dream. When I walk into a club, nobody plays my tune, unfortunately. Anyway, for musicians, I was working on hemiolas and displaced rhythms, and I may have written myself into a corner, but here's Dream Steps.
play that one well. Okay, here's a little bit of history. Tony and I go back, obviously quite well. I've known him all his life. Tony's played in my bands, I've played in his bands. We ended up with other people together from time to time. It's nice, all kinds of things. But one really nice period we had in the late 70s, we both ended up touring in Paul Simon's band together. Wonderful, it was a great band, and a great experience. And we thought it'd be nice to pull something out of Paul Song's book. This is our jazz version, our interpretation of Scarborough Fair. All right. Here's an odd piece. Again, digging into history. Many years ago, when I was in high school, we're old guys, did you notice that? Other than the fact that 3 of us are wearing hearing aids. That's why I stopped. I got off. Okay, back in high school, I was a French horn player. I was enjoying it, getting kind of good at it. And somebody gave me a 10-inch LP. It was done by a bass player, wonderful jazz bass player, Oscar Pettiford, who was living in Paris, I believe, at the time, and doing a lot of great recordings with very unusual groups. His group of choice was a quintet: piano, bass, drums, tenor saxophone, and French horn. The French horn player was Judas Watkins, long gone, of course, but Judas was doing stuff on the French horn that nobody had done before. A beautiful player. And I was listening to him, trying to copy him and so forth. I listened to the records in the house all the time. So Tony's hanging around. He didn't care about French horn at all, so whatever. He heard the bass player, Oscar Pettiford, who was a tremendous influence on many bass players over the years, and on Tony also. And Tony credits Oscar with maybe inspiring him to get into playing bass. And we're all happy about that, I guess. Anyway, one of Oscar's compositions, a thing called tricketism, which is a misspelling of tricktism, which is a heart condition or something. We won't go there. This is called tricketism, and recorded it several different ways, one of which Pat has to tell you about. It's a special story about that, too.
Yeah, my acquaintance with this song goes back to a 1956 or 57 recording where Oscar Pettiford recorded with Lucky Thompson. Now, many of you from Seattle probably know that Lucky was here at the Veterans Hospital, I believe, and I think he passed away in Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. Great tenor saxophone player. And before he quit playing, I was lucky enough to procure both his tenor and his soprano. So this is Lucky Thompson's tenor. It's got the LT engraved on it from the factory in Paris, and this is tricketism.
Tricotism. Take your vitamins and you won't get it. I just noticed while we were playing, this guy over here is completely in the dark. Yeah. Doing this great stuff. This is Joe La Barbera over here. You have to be careful of the lights on the outside as you get to that. This is a piece, it's a jazz standard. Some of you might know it. It's written by Freddie Hubbard, wonderful trumpet player. This is our version of Little Sunflower.
So my history started with big bands professionally. Actually, I started playing in 1952. Anybody remember 1952? Anyway, that's when I first met Joe, wasn't it? No. In 53, Joe started working. He was a little younger. And then when I went to Berkeley, I was a small group player, but I got drafted into Buddy Rich's big band. I was there for almost 7 years. So Buddy started my professional career, really, putting me on the map. And it was actually through Buddy that I got the job with Elvin Jones, because Elvin used to come in and sit in with Buddy, and he always wanted to play a Count Basie chart. And he came and sat in at Ronnie Scott's one night and offered me the job with his quartet, because Dave Liebman was leaving at the time. And I was still working with Buddy, but 2 months later, Buddy broke the band up, so I joined Elvin in 1975, and I was with him for almost 20 years plus until he passed away. Anyway, what happened was we did a tour with McCoy Tyner and myself, Elvin and Richard Davis. Frank Sinatra told me never to drop names. So this is a tune that McCoy taught us on this little trip that we did in Europe. We did a tour. This is a calypso called Island Birdie. Yeah.
Thank you very much, and it's my turn to say good evening to everyone here, and thank you for being here. This is so great to have a great audience. As Peter and Tony and Pat have already said, we're drawing from our musical pasts, and of course I've known Pat since our first gig in 1953. I was born in '48, but I don't remember him. Tony and I go all the way back to 1968 when we were both in Rochester, New York. He was an upright bass player, student at Eastman School of Music, and we were working with Chuck Mangione's older brother, Gab, in a trio 5 nights a week. And Peter and I are just getting to know each other musically and personally, and I gotta say, it's been a real treat for me to be on this tour. And for one thing, I can't remember the last time I was the youngest guy in any band. It's been a long time. So we're going to reach back into my musical history and to 1979, 1980, when I was privileged to be part of the Bill Evans Trio, which would turn out to be his very last trio. And I was working with Toots Thielmans at a club called Hoppers in New York City, and Bill Evans and his manager Helen Keane came into the club and heard me play and invited me to come by and audition for the trio. And you know, everything worked out just fine. So we're going to play a composition of mine that's going to feature Peter at the keyboard and Pat on his saxophone, electric saxophone. And Pat is going to push a button on that magic box and bring to mind and to spirit Toots Thielmans. And tonight, this is written for Bill Evans, but tonight I'd like to just dedicate this to someone that maybe some of you may have known, certainly a good friend of mine, Chuck Deerdorf, and I'd like to dedicate this to Chuck.
We get to play that every night. What a great song. Have you noticed we talk before every song? And now it's my turn. So this is we talked a little bit about our history. It's pretty darn special tour to me, I think to all of us, because we have history together, but we haven't toured together until this tour, which is only a couple of weeks. We started down in San Diego, went all the way up to Vancouver, playing Seattle, a couple of islands, and then, oops, we missed Seattle itself, and here is the last show, the last night of our adventure together. Yeah, Joe and I were back in my school days played together, and Pete and I, of course, my whole life played together. And Pat, I haven't mentioned this. We haven't mentioned when we first. He's cringing. He's cringing. Uh-oh. Let me. See, I turned your mic off.
No, okay. I met Tony in 1967, 68, somewhere there, but I also had to fire Tony. Before he even played a note with Buddy Rich, he never even got to play. I called, I have to tell this story. There's a bass player on Buddy Rich's band, I won't mention it, but you know who it is probably. We were going to London, England. The bass player said, Buddy, I'm going to give my notice in Boston. I want to get off the band in Boston because he went to Berkeley. And so we were playing Lenny's on the Turnpike in Boston. So Buddy said, get me a bass player. I was hiring at the time. So I called Tony. I said, Tony, quit your job with Mangione. Get rid of your apartment. Buy a tuxedo because we're going to play a come-in performance for the Queen. Drive to Boston, meet us at Lenny's on the Turnpike, and we're going to, we're going to go to England from there. And I guess you were going to stash your car at your parents' house or something. Anyway, the Sunday night when he comes into town to join the band, the other bass player says, Buddy, I really want to go back to England where he was from, so I'm going to rescind my notice. And Buddy tells me, okay, when the new guy comes, just tell him he doesn't have a job. So Tony, what does he do? He gets in his car and he goes to New York City, and the rest is history. But a year and a half or so later, the Buddy needed a bass player. I said, I'm not hiring any more bass players for you. No more, anybody else. So he gets his manager to hire a bass player. They hired Tony. Now, Buddy doesn't know it. Afterwards, he comes to me, he says, man, give this guy $500 a week, which was about the going rate at the time. Give him $500 a week. This guy's great. I said, Buddy, this is the guy you stiffed in Boston. He ain't coming on the road with us at all. Anyway, and then Tony ended up doing an album with us, right? We did, yeah.
Roar Up
anyway,
74.
sorry, Tony, I didn't mean to take over from you, but I had to tell it.
You tell it so
at least once on this tour.
And we haven't told that story before, so. Yeah, that was, if I didn't need it, that was a welcome to the music business moment all the way to Boston, no apartment. I couldn't bear going back to Rochester and telling everybody, I'm back. It didn't work out. One day after that. And it did work out very well for me. Which has very little to do with this song. Oh no, we're the Band of Brothers, and right before the tour I wrote a simple little piece for the band. Entitled it appropriately, The Brothers Take a Ride. So here's that song. From now on, you tell. Thank you. That went over so well. Here's another piece I wrote. I think a few of you saw the Peter Gabriel show. Wow, all of you. That's all. I write all his songs. We keep it quiet. So we keep it quiet. But to be serious, I've done a lot. I've done all his tours, and they're all fantastic and fun and challenging. But this one was so moving, even more than the others. So I'm so glad to see people who were there, because that's the only way they understand what I'm saying when I say this. You know if you were there. So thanks for sharing that experience with us. And, very few people know that I wrote "Don't Give Up." So here it is, the original version, the jazz version.
This is fun. This is Tony mentioned, we've been, as a band, we've been together for 2 weeks. That's it. Joe lives in LA. Pat flew in from Toronto. Tony and I flew in from Woodstock, New York. We got together, the Musicians Union in LA, and we had a rehearsal. So okay, let's go play. And sometimes that's good. So it means we surprise ourselves every night, which is as part of it. We talk sometimes about our friends, many friends we have in New York, who sit in orchestra pits on Broadway and play the same thing, same way every night. And they're happy. They're good. They're making a living, making a pension. This is great, and it's so great to come out and do it for people, for you folks. Happy to have you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. We're going to do a song. This is, technically, I guess it's a cover song. This is somebody else's piece. It has nothing to do with our history. This one you don't hear very often. It's a composer's been dead for a long time. It's actually a children's piano piece, which would be completely obscure and lost, I guess, unless you were 8 years old and taking piano lessons. But except a while back, quite a while back, decades ago, Blood, Sweat, and Tears used it as an intro for one of their hits, one of their big hits, just a little piece of it, little vamp, and that's it. Then they went ahead. And it's a fascinating little tune. We thought we'd do it, but we're going to play the whole thing and not Blood, Sweat, and Tears versions. Anyway, the composer is Eric Satie, and I don't speak French, so this is going to come out wrong. It's okay. This is the first gymnopédie.
about that? Peter Levin on Coach, Pat and Barbara. Well, we're going to conclude now with a song that I heard my brother Pat play many times. The great thing about being the kid brother of someone that works with the greatest drummers in the world is that I get to meet them, you know, and I get to hang out with them. And I knew Buddy pretty darn well, and I knew Elvin pretty darn well. And this is a song that Elvin wrote for his wife Keiko, called Keiko's Birthday March. And there's a drum cadence that he plays, and any of the drummers in here that know about Elvin will know this cadence. And I thought that he had learned it when he was in the military. He served in World War II in the Army Air Corps before it was the Air Force. And I said, Elvin, did you learn that cadence in the Army? He said, no, man, I taught it to them. and sure enough, you know, it was his thing. And when I served in 1968, I was in a band, and I found this Army manual, and there it was, the long 2/4. Now, Elvin didn't get credit for the composition, but it was his. So we're going to play this for you now. Keiko's Birthday March. Hope you enjoy this.
Thank you. John La Barbera. John Lennon. And say hello to Pat from Barbara. Thank you. I'm Pete Levin. Thank you so much. And thanks to the folks at Nectar for having us. Thank you for coming.
Our friend John wants us to mention that he's got some CDs of ours.
100% goes to the artist. 100%, I totally forgot, John, thank you. 100% goes to the artist.
Did he say they only cost 100 cents each? Does he say it? Thanks, John.
Something about nobody can get out until you buy it. No. Oh, and okay, this is all we've been messing with. This is kind of, it's called Give Me Some Scratch.